I've not lost interest in the car at all. It's just, it's really difficult to get into something and keep a momentum going when you're here for maybe one day a week, if you're lucky to, and then it's generally afternoons. So it's been difficult to get into a rhythm with it, and more difficult to be asked to record it when I am here, because time is so limited. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time to chuck the phone somewhere in the general direction of the car. It's just, I've had so little time to do anything that recording on top just, you know, yeah, lost interest a bit. Anyway, quick update. So if you're expecting things to happen, don't bother watching, because it doesn't, it's just an update. So the car is now, apart from the bracket, which I keep forgetting to remove, that's around the steering column, the body is merely held to the chassis with gravity. So if gravity disappears overnight, then that would be a lot easier to remove. Anyway, some more bits have come off, so I'll show you around the car a bit, and some bits that I've removed from the, if you remember back a fair few episodes, I bought the remains of a Sheerline, which everyone else seemed to think was just, you know, scrap, but it's been a peachy purchase. So I will show you that as well in a minute. So one of the major issues was undoing the bolts that, or the studs nuts, that secure the body to the chassis. This one, which, I mean, God, the weather's not helping now, is it? The sun is quite bright. Anyway, this is the near side rear in front of the wheel arch. Entertainingly, it was just going round and round and round, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a problem. It isn't a problem, because the actual mount, which I can't show you because of the sun, but the mount doesn't exist anymore. It's not actually attached, so that's already free floating, as are the rear pair. Hang on, zoom out a bit. There we go. The rear pair in here, there's no body left around those mounts, so the whole back end is free floating. One of them down here snapped off. Can't remember which one. I think it was that one. It snapped off. That's fine. The two front ones undid. All of the offside ones undid. Although the back offside one in front of the wheel arch, I was undoing that, and the whole car in that corner was twisting quite badly. There is no strength left in the back. So I have bought some box. Quite a lot of box, and it turns out I'm going to buy some more box, because this is 50 by 53 mil. So I was going to make a frame, so it was going to go across, weld it to car A pillar, B pillar, and the, I suppose you could call it the kicker, but only this piece of metal here, because it's relatively sort of there, except nothing behind it is there. So I've then got to make a frame to go up over the back to hold the back together whilst I lift it, and obviously put probably a couple of extra, well, probably a piece of box across the door shuts at the back, and then an X-frame in the middle to try and prevent it from flat packing itself, because I have tried jacking this side up, well, and the other side. I've tried jacking both sides up, but it does lift. It comes off the chassis, so I think I've got everything removed, apart from that bracket that I keep forgetting. But the roof started pinging. In fact, that the bend up there actually sort of pinged out a little bit. So that was good, I suppose, if you like that kind of thing. However, so the car, I could, at this point, remove the gear selector and steering box, which means I wouldn't have to lift the front quite as far, or the body quite as far to come over that. However, I've still got to lift it a fair chunk to come over the swan neck on the chassis, so I don't think it makes much difference. What I have decided to do, though, is purchase some big rolly wheels and some more box, and get myself a couple of, I don't think, you know, even a high lift hydraulic jack or bottle jack would lift it enough. So what I'm tempted to do is buy a couple more transmission jacks and use, because I mean that will lift a long way, right? So if I get a couple more of them, I can make a frame on wheels that I can slide down side a car or under car, and then still brace the body so it doesn't flat pack itself, but then use the jacks either side to actually lift the body, and then I can just wheel it around wherever the hell I want it. And I mean, realistically, if I make the upright box enough, one bit slides inside to the yada yada yada. I might not do it this way, but if I do it that way, you'll see what I mean when I make it. But yeah, that'll lift enough realistically for me to then stick it onto my reamers, because at the moment, until I've got a lot of strength back in it, because there isn't any, I don't want to put this on a rotisserie and spin it, because I think it will just break in half or in many pieces. So anyway, the windscreen is out, the rear window is out. I think we only snapped off 2 screws and had to drill 3 or 4, but then quite a lot of them are missing anyway. But that's, yeah, it's fixable, so I'm not too worried about that. The following on from, I think it was the last one, where I was removing Mr. Webb's box of tricks, which I feel quite bad about now. I sort of, part of me thinks, well, maybe I should put these back in, it is part of the car's history. And the other part of me thinks, I don't know what most of it does. This is genius. So when we dismantled in the front, and I noticed, you want to be able to see it. So there's the washer pump, which is clearly added. There's a little micro switch here on a spring. Goes into here. Now, I don't know if you can hear it. Whoops. He's built a flap in the bottom of the box here. So when the washer fluid gets low, sets a buzzer off in the car. Again, genius. I don't know why you'd need it, but genius. Fair play to him. What else have I done? So the front jackal rams are removed. They are not going back on. Along with the pipework, the tank, there's the rams. Weirdly, they had what looked like brake fluid in them. I don't know what I've done with the tank. Oh, the tank's down there. But anyway, I'm not going to throw any of this away. I'm just going to tuck it aside, because maybe in a few years I might sort of be in a position where I can manufacture some rams and stuff. I don't know. But anyway, so that was that. The seats are still here because I can't get hold of the trimmer, and he's not returning messages, which is annoying because I'd quite like them to not be here. But that is about it on the car. So now I shall show you to steal a phrase from Al at 60 Diesels, I shall show you some top quality treasure. So amongst the goodies we managed to get out the other engine, ignore the fact that it is very filthy. It does have some corrosion on it. We're looking at this cam, not that cam. This cam is from a Sheerline engine. This is at the boat anchor. It's very manky. It's got a lot of very carbonated oil that's kind of just congealed and horrible. It took 2 blokes and a fuckload of cutlery, or technically a sledgehammer, to get this out of the block. However, I'm glad I did, because I mean, there is no wear on it. It is, I know it's filthy and you can't really see it, but trust me, I'm not that worried about cleaning it up, because the more crap it's covered in, the less chance it has of turning into this. This is a camshaft from a 40k engine, which is kind of the same engine, but not. This came out of a 420 FG with a 4-litre petrol, obviously. But if you look at, I don't know how well it'll come across, but the lobes on the Sheerline engine are quite a lot fatter than the lobes on the 40k cam. Obviously, the other difference is where the oil pump and distributor drive are located, because on the truck the oil pan is forward, and on the Sheerline the oil pan is towards the rear, which is why on the Sheerline the drive is by number 3 main journal, and on an FG they're on number 2 main journal. But this is so although it's the cam profile on this is the same, I think, as the engine in my ambulance, which is a 40E high-speed engine. So the 40K was a 90 horse engine, the 40E was 110 horse and classed as the high-speed engine. This is the Sheerline, which was 125 horse and classed as a Sheerline engine. Also used in Jensen 541s, I think, although I believe the heads were different. Could be wrong, but anyway, this is the head, which is very, very dusty. The valves are very stuck in it, but that's the same head as the ambulance. The 40K engine didn't have the heart-shaped swirly chamber. They were just flat across the top from memory. The other differences being, of course, that these are the cam followers, and on the 40K engine they were buckets, so they had longer push rods because it went all the way down to the bottom. This one's broken. Now that, again, very low mileage engine, clearly, very little wear in it. It was just corrosion. Even the the pistons came out in pieces, but the remains of them, there was just no wear in them. Where there was still some oil trapped around one of the pistons in the bore, the bore looked really good, but I mean that block is, trust me, a scrap. It's in the scrap pile. It's going. But yeah, this was broken. It was still kind of there. In the block, but in two pieces. Now that, I didn't have to tap that very hard to come out, but that was the same one that had a bent push rod, so I'm guessing something bad happened to that. I mean, who really knows, but you can tell the 40K profile on the lobe is, there's not a lot of it, whereas these are, I mean, look at that. That is the sort of cam profile that Bugatti can only dream of. I mean, I reckon with, you know, a little bit of tuning, you could get one of these, well, at least 1,000,000 horsepower Hellfire cam. So I'm really glad I kept that, because even though I suspect once that's cleaned up, it will probably want to go off to someone that knows what they're doing for rehardening or whatnot. Certainly, maybe the bearing surfaces will probably want attention. The whole thing will probably want attention, but again, where are you going to get one with no wear on it? So totally worth having. The head, I'm convinced will go again. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the inlet manifold's bust, but even the exhaust manifold I think would do a turn. I can't see any cracks in it. It's just quite corroded. The head would need extensive, you know, going through a machine shop, cleaning out decking, yada yada yada. But I can use that head on the Sheerline if I need to. I can use it on the ambulance if I need to. So that will go in a massive bucket of oil, along with the crank and the cam and various other bits I want to keep, but not necessarily do anything with right now, but I don't want them corroding, so I shall get a massive bucket, fill it with oil, chuck all that lot in there. Happy days. This is a front drum from the scrap car. They were seized solid. They are still seized solid, and I want to be a little bit careful with these, because although I am sort of back on the fags, you know, asbestos. And although there is quite a lot of wear on the lining, the drum itself, yes, it's very rusty, but there's no wear lip on it. I mean, nothing. So I reckon those drums will clean up. I'm not too worried about, you know, I will butcher the shoes or the cylinders or whatever to get them out, have them faced. So long as I can get them off the hub without destroying them, which I think I can, because I'm going to drop both of these in I've got another one over there. I will drop both of these in a massive bucket of diesel for a while, and then, if needs be, try and make a collar or something to sit around the edge of the drum so I'm not pressing right on the edge of it, and then shove it in the press. And that should hopefully separate them. And then, because I've got a very square drum on the front near side of the car, I think these will clean up and they will be absolutely fine. Because again, I don't know how much it would cost to have one of these made, but probably quite a lot. And apart from the fact that it's very corroded where it's been sat for years, and I think you can guess which side was nearest the ground. Because, I mean, the amount of shite that was in here was epic. But again, I reckon that drum itself will be absolutely fun. There's a spider there. What's that? That looks like a false widow, doesn't it? Does that look like a false widow? I don't know a lot about spiders other than I bloody hate them. However, I am getting better with them, so I'm not going to kill it. I will let him live. Although if anyone in the comments says, yes, that's a false widow, then I will hunt it down and destroy it with fire. Yeah, little bastard. Although that said, he's sort of ingesting asbestos, so it might kill him anyway. Well, I don't know, maybe spiders are impervious. Who knows? Anyway, that is, and that's pretty much it. I've got nothing else to report. However, as the phrase goes, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs, and we're breaking a lot of eggs. So there's a lot going on to the building, sort of. And I'm busy clearing up outside because there's something else arriving. Well, actually, there might be two things arriving. But the main thing arriving is somewhere where I can do something with this, where I can grind, weld, spray, make a right mess, and it won't ruin any of the other vehicles in here, or doesn't mean having to move stuff constantly. So that would be good. So that's happening, which will expedite that. It's also been really cold and horrible. I mean, the sun's out today, first time in... Oh no, wait, was the sun out yesterday? I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, the weather's been terrible, and I really haven't felt it. Hopefully when the nights are starting to dry out a bit and the weather improves a bit and things are more, as has been mentioned in the comments before, how can you work in this shit? Well, we have been, but you're right, it's bad. So if we can improve that situation, then all of this stuff gets a lot easier. I haven't stopped buying things for this, and I'm trying to work out a plan of getting everything I need to be rebuilt / made that I'm not doing to the various people that need to do these things, quite a lot of which is a lot of driving, because I'm not going to put that steering wheel, it's not there anymore, it's over there, but I'm not going to put a steering wheel in the post because it's the only one I've got. I don't know what the likelihood is of getting another one, but I'd have said remote. So I would rather take it to the people that are doing it, which is right across the other side of the country, because I'm sure there's someone nearby, but I've had a lot of... I've asked for recommendations, and a lot of people have messaged to say these guys are the dog's tits. If you want your steering wheel done in Bakelite properly, go to them. They're the other side of the country. So I'm going to take it to them, and then I'll have to drive back out there to collect it and bring it home again when it's done. Ironically, they're not a million miles away from people that have recommended a company that will make me a stainless steel tank for it. However, friend of the channel, this is Zaphod, thank you Chris, recommended an engineering company in Chard, which is really not very far away from me. So that is useful. I haven't actually contacted them yet. I will be. Again, so many other things get in the way, and I forget stuff because I'm old and I forget things a lot. So I need to contact them and see if they can knock me up a tank. If they can, that's in Chard. Happy days, down the road. That would be good. Anything nearby would be good. The same trimmer that I found is not a million miles away, but alas, he just seems to have vanished, which is annoying, because I think the seats will take, and apart from sorting all of this out, in terms of stuff I'm sending out to be done, I think the seats will take the longest because they're wrecked. I have no room for any more cars, although there might be another car arriving, but that is just purely for some pieces, and the rest of it will be going in a skip immediately. It won't be staying, but there's a couple of nice bits on it that I need for mine, and the only way I'm going to be able to get it is to buy a whole car, because no one in the Sheerline world wants to sell you any parts, even if they've got them, even though they sort of say they will, and then they just like block you and don't want to speak to you again. Don't know why that is. It's the complete antithesis of the BX world, where, you know, if you're down to your last decent hydraulic strut but somebody needs one, I'll send it to them, because I'm helping somebody out, and we all help each other out, and it's nice. Slightly different with these. Anyway, oh yeah, I was scrolling Facebook, having had a few beers, as you do. Well, I do anyway, because I'm like that. Apologies on the throat. I think I'm dying of old age. Might be them. I don't know. Anyway, I should probably fix the vape and go back on the vape. The vape's broken. fix it or buy another one. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I scroll on Facebook. I'm a bit drunk. And I think it was UK ban fines or something or other. I don't know, anyway. Up pops an advert for a car that I quite like. My dad had one when I was a kid. And I've sort of reached that weird point in life where I remember very fondly all the cars that my father had. I keep sort of looking for them. Well, not actively looking for them, but they, you know, when one pops up, you think, oh, that'd be nice to have. Because my dad had a really beautiful. I don't know about BMW the E things, but it was a late 70s BMW 525. It was peppermint green, full leather. It sounded great. It went like hell. It didn't stop. The brakes were a bit crap, but it was. I thought, as a wee kid, I just thought, wow, leather seats. I mean, it's the first car I ever had with leather seats because it's posh and stuff. But it was, well, I think it was anyway. It's the first one I can remember. But anyway, that's not the car that I found. But I have seen a 525 the same as Dad had, different colour. And I did think, oh, that'd be nice. I got nowhere to put it. How much crap does a man need? But I'd quite like one. Same with, my dad had a right-hand drive Alfa Romeo Giulia, one of the 60s ones, or Giulia, whatever. It was a South African import. And because the roads were so bad over there at the time, it had like stress cracks everywhere. But it was the noise that thing made. I think it was a 1600 twin cams. I was a tiny little boy then, but I remember I don't really remember the car that well. I've seen photos of it, obviously, but I remember the noise it made. And occasionally I have seen the odd left-hand drive one come up, and I thought, well, I wouldn't mind. But again, I got nowhere to put it. What am I going to do with it? But then the other night, scrolling Facebook, a Vauxhall Victor FE, which I've always loved. I love the shape of them, the grille. I think everything about them is just awesome. It's a 1600. It's metallic green. It's exactly the same colour and spec as the one that my father had when I was a kid. And it didn't look too bad. And I think it was like £4,000 or something. It's in up north, I think it's Chester way. I was so tempted. I didn't, because I'm middle-aged and sensible and I've got nowhere to put it. But I was so tempted. I just thought, again, it's like reliving your youth, isn't it, you know? But I don't think it'd be right if, it'd be better, I think, for me, if I bought that car, so I have Dad drive it everywhere and me sit in the back, so then I can be a kid again. And I can pester him to take me to the Magnet Fish Bar, and where they did really nice chips in Bedminster. They were fantastic. I don't even know if they're still there. But I just think, you know, that'd be fun. It'd be a bit weird if I was driving it, because I never drove it. But, you know, I used to, everything about that car I loved. The gear stick, the little lever, you had to lift for reverse, the steering wheel, everything about it, the things that you remember as a kid. And I just thought, I really want that car. I don't know if it's still for sale. But the fact that I'm now very sober and I'm still thinking, I'd quite like that. And if I pulled my finger out and cleared some space at another place where I have a garage, there is somewhere I could put it. Not a million miles away from where I live. So I might have a look later and see if it's still for sale. And then it might be a case of pestering my mate who collected this for me to have a drive up to Chester. Hopefully it's sold, because that fixes that problem. But anyway, it's the cars you remember as a youth, isn't it? Which is mainly why I bought this, because this is the first car I ever pointed at when I want that car, and now I've got it, and it's a wreck, and anyone in their right mind wouldn't have gone anywhere near it, which is why no one did, even though bizarrely I still get, I mean, not abuse, but just snide comments about how I'm not the right person to have this car. Nobody else took it on. No one else was ever going to take this on. It would have been broken for parts. And to be fair, there's not a lot of parts on it worth having. Realistically, it's pretty broken. But, you know, I wanted it, I've got it, I'm going to do it. Not in spite of anyone else, because I'm not like that much. But, you know, I can still see me sat in that, chugging along the road, girlfriend next to me, having a very nice time. Because I just think that will be a lovely thing to potter about in. So anyway, I have waffled and waffled and waffled. This was supposed to be a really short video, and I'm gonna have my ass handed to me on a plate because it's now 2 o'clock and I really shouldn't be here. So on that score, if you've stuck with this shit for this long, then thanks very much. I promise the next time I do a video on this, it will be something actually happening to it. It's just that might be a little while because there's things I need to make to move the body. I'm still not sure I'm going to do that. I'm not sure I fancy the idea of having this with straps and a JCB lifting it. I think I prefer the idea of having something that lifts from the ground with wheels on. It's a lot more controllable, I think, and it will make it easy just to wheel the thing around if I need to move it, if it's just on its own little jig with wheels. So I think I'm going to do that. That will take me some time, but equally, like I said, there's things I've got to do over there to allow me to remove this and put it somewhere. So it will be happening, but it might not be for a little while. I've got some other cars that I have to look at that aren't mine. So there's a gearbox, or potentially a gearbox rebuild in a C5. I don't think it will be. Worst case, I think it's going to be a valve block, but it might not even be that. And I've got another C5 to look at, a Merc 1. It's been a while since I've touched one of them, with ABS faults, and there's a 2.2, so engine management faults and things and stuff. So that's arriving directly, so I've got to look at that, because obviously this is as much fun as this is. I do need to kind of do other things. So yeah, anyway, next time a video on this stuff will happen, and then hopefully a lot of stuff will happen quite quickly, because I've got a lot of stuff that I can put into it and fabricate and make and weld together, and MOT next Tuesday kind of thing. But anyway, so thanks for watching. I'm going now. See you in the next one.